Project New Testament in 1 Year Reading Plan on the YouVersion app and the Bible.com site, and we're reading from the NET Bible. So this is what it says. This is Matthew 25, 1 through 30. It's day 40 of reading through the Bible, the New Testament. So this is what it says. At that time, the kingdom of heaven will be like 10 virgins who took their lamps and went out to meet the bridegroom. 5 of the virgins were foolish, and 5 were wise. When the foolish ones took out their lamps, they did not take extra olive oil with them, but the wise ones took flasks of olive oil with their lamps. When the bridegroom was delayed a long time, they all became drowsy and fell asleep. But at midnight there was a shout, "Look, the bridegroom is here. Come out to meet him." Then all the virgins woke and trimmed their lamps. The foolish ones said to the wise, "Give us some of your oil, because our lamps are going out." "No," they replied, "there won't be enough for you and for us. Go instead to those who sell oil and buy some for yourselves." But while they had gone to buy it, the bridegroom arrived, and those who were ready went inside with him to the wedding banquet. Then the door was shut. Later, the other virgins came too, saying, "Lord, Lord, let us in." But he replied, "I tell you the truth, I do not know you. Therefore stay alert, because you do not know the day or the hour. For it is like a man going on the journey who summons his slaves and entrusts his property to them. To one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, to another 1, each according to his ability. Then he went on his journey. The one who had received 5 talents went right away and put his money to work and gained 5 more. In the same way, the one who had gained 2 talents, 2 more. But the one who had received 1 talent went out and dug a hole in the ground and hid his master's money in it. After a long time, the master of those slaves came and settled his accounts with them. The one who had received 5 talents came and brought 5 more, saying, "Sir, you entrusted me with 5 talents. See, I have gained 5 more." His master answered, "Well done, good and faithful slave. You have been faithful in a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Enter into the joy of your master." And the one who with 2 talents came also and said, "Sir, you entrusted me with 2 talents. You entrusted 2 talents to me. See, I have gained 2 more." His master said, "Well done, good and faithful slave. You have been faithful with a few things, but I will put you in charge of many things. Enter into the joy of your master." Then the one who had received 1 talent came and said, "Sir, I knew you were a hard man, harvesting where you did not sow, gathering where you did not scatter seed. So I was afraid, and I went and I hid your talent in the ground. See, you have what is yours." But his master answered, "Evil and lazy slave, you knew that I harvested where I did not sow and gathered where I didn't scatter. Then you should have deposited my money with the bankers, and on my return I would have received my money back with interest. Therefore take the talent from him and give it to the one who has 10. For the one who has will be given more, and he will have more than enough. But the one who does not have, even what he has will be taken from him. And throw that worthless slave into the outer darkness, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth." Now, this is all in the midst of Jesus talking about the the day of the Lord, essentially his return, when the kingdom of God will be fully manifested. And he talks about it in a lot of different ways through the last couple chapters, or I guess last chapter and a half. And the parable of the 10 virgins, I think it's 10 virgins. Yes. We look at that and we say, well, yeah, that's about being wise and it's about being prepared. And I think that is the case. But I also think it's also about thinking about, what does it mean to be wise and what does it mean to be foolish? Because wise people, you do think ahead and you think about your priorities. But if you're foolish, you really don't think about that, and your only priority is whatever is next, or whatever is pleasurable, or whatever your whim is. And I think that's part of the idea of, when you're wise, you're prudent, you think through things, you make sure you are ready to complete the tasks that you have. The wise virgins did that. They had their extra oil. The idea is necessarily didn't know when the bridegroom would show up. That was just the way it worked. It's not like things were scheduled the same way they are today, where you could say, okay, let me look at my watch and say, okay, this is when this is going to happen. And it's not like they had, clear, transportation and they had schedules for that as well. They didn't. And so when you were waiting for the wedding banquet, you didn't exactly know when it would be, and things could be delayed. I mean, even in this day and age, we can be delayed with our driving, our flights, or hitting detours, canceled flights, or delayed flights. So it makes sense what's going on here. That the wise ones knew. Well, we don't exactly know, so we're going to bring extra oil. We're the ones who are just like, okay, let's go do this. Kind of foolish, and just was thinking about, okay, what's my next whim? Just brought enough oil to be filled in their lamps, and didn't bring extra oil. What's the parable of the talents is one that is talked about a lot. And the idea is we need to use what's given to us. Now, some people may look at this like, the master, he gave his servants, he gave them different stuff, but maybe the one who was given one didn't have any sense of what to do with it. That's not the case, because the master gave each of them talents according to their ability. And for me, one of the things as I read this today, the idea of fear stopping us from doing what we know we need to do and what we're able to do, we have the ability to do. That's what stopped the servant. And I wonder if when we think about the gifts that God has given us, if part of the reason we don't use them is that we're fearful. The other thing is the servant probably was lazy because it would have been work to keep up with, investments and to make more money with it. And so by digging a hole and laying it in there and burying it, he didn't have to do anything more. But the servants that made, profit, they did. Just makes me, ask the question, are there times in our lives that we're either lazy or we're fearful when we know what we're supposed to do? God has given us talents and abilities and gifts and a purpose for that, but we don't do what we know to do. Just something to think about today. Hope you guys are doing well. That's my view from the Broad Top today. Have a good day.